The following morning, I awoke to find myself wearing pee-soaked pants and shirt and thinking that sleeping in the bathtub was an ingenious idea for that very reason. I stripped, tossed everything into the laundry chute, showered and got dressed. However, I decided then and there that I was done with wetting my pants. I wasn't going to wear diapers or good nights during the daytime anymore. During the night was one thing, but during the day was out of the question. Part of what brought me to this decision was the fact that someone had somehow got into my backpack and taken my extra good night. That meant that someone in my school knew about me wearing them, and I could only imagine what sort of ramifications were going to come of that. And then, as I was repacking my backpack, I made a very exciting discovery. At the bottom of my backpack, the one I thought I had totally emptied, was the good night I thought had been taken. Phew! I gasped with relief after finding it. I also determined that instead of going all day without using the school restrooms, I would make sure I went after every single class, even if it meant I would be late to each consecutive class. I put on my coat and gloves, then my shoes, and slung my backpack over both shoulders. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it out of the house without being caught by my parents or grandparents, but I was sure going to try. I'd worry later about the consequences from my actions the previous afternoon. As I was headed for the door, something else occurred to me, the note that grandfather had returned to me. Now I'd already been all around that room, so I knew they were not there, but still I turned and looked for the wet pants I had taken off the day before. I'd left them laying in the middle of the floor, along with the wet goodnight, but with all the hoopla I'd completely forgot about them. Oh man, what did the note say again? I asked myself while thumping on the side of my head. www.something.com, right? I thought aloud. I hit myself even harder, as if the extra jolt would rattle something loose and allow me to remember. As if a light bulb went off above my head, like in the cartoons, I exclaimed, ILD. That's it. www.ILD.com. Before I removed the shoe from my door, I put my ear to it and listened. I couldn't hear anything at all emanating from the other side. Guess there's only one way to know Alvin, I said to myself. I pulled out the shoe and opened the door. As I peeked my head out, I saw that no one was anywhere to be seen. Yes. I whispered a small victory cry. With cat-like stealth I crept downstairs, into the kitchen, and grabbed some food that looked somewhat appetizing. After stuffing it into my backpack, I headed for the front door. However, I hadn't expected what happened next. As soon as the door opened, an alarm sounded. Apparently my grandparents have a home security system, which I had been ignorant of all this time. It was steadily snowing outside, so I pulled the hood of my coat over my head and ran out of the house as if I were a thief running from the scene of a burglary. I ran and didn't stop running until I couldn't hear the alarm blaring anymore. When I finally stopped running, I realized that I had run myself right into the middle of Memorial Gardens Park yet again, where the early morning sun's light was barely visible. Actually, it was casting eerie shadows and making it look even scarier than that park usually does.